I can see you. I love what you did with the number plate. I love what you did with the number plate. It's genius. Unmute. You have to unmute. Unmute. I love what you did with the number plate. Genius. No, Ray. I think we're all good. I'm getting audio through.
Okay,
voice
is that better?
meter,
Alright,
so-
you can hear me now? The fuck? Alright, so we've been having technical difficulties all morning. It's part of the fun. Can you hear me now, Ray? Nah. I don't know, whatever. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah, welcome to the live chat now that I'm on mute so you can hear me. We've got the current jack stands and we're just going to get started. I'm glad though. So now, so the first thing I'm going to do is get the engine cover off, and then we're going to take this wheel off, and then I have to take the basically all the guard out so then I can get to the oil filter. So I'm going to take that off, and then I'm going to empty the pan. So we'll do that now. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much. If it does rain, well, so be it. There's nothing to be helped about it. Nice. Oil filter. So, I'm going to take that off, and then I'm going to empty the... What would you like to know, Spliffy?
One second.
That's right.
So your car is a diesel engine, isn't it?
Yes, it is a diesel engine.
And there's virtually no difference between virtual and petrol and a diesel engine in terms of servicing the oil.
Yeah, so the servicing is pretty much exactly the same. So you drop your oil, you drop your, you change your oil filter, and that's pretty much it. It looks like it's going to start raining now. Yay! Just what we want. Where's my adapter? Got to get the adapter that changes a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch.
So the oil pan is just a little nut or like a little grub screw?
Yeah, so it's a tiny little screw that, well, it's not tiny, it's usually about a 10 mil, but it sits on the bottom end of your sump, and you pretty much just undo it and let the oil out. But before you start, that isn't too loud, is it?
No.
So before you start doing an oil change in a car, it's always good practice to go for a drive around the block, get that oil warm.
Yeah.
Because if the oil is warm, you can have it drain much easier.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
does oil get super condensed or super dense when when it's not warm?
Hang on a minute, we just gotta go to the Be Right Back screen. Sorry everyone. Yep. Yeah, I gotta.
You're fine. That's fine. You can keep talking to them.
Please don't rain too much. Hang on a minute, we just gotta go to the Be Right Back screen. What's wrong?
I could hear you had your streamer tab up here.
Oh,
You
so you
could
would.
hear it through the
Oh. Well, that was very dumb of me. Right.
Hang on, wait.
Okay. We're back. Again, technical difficulties. Always have them. Fuck you, rain. Alright, so we got the we've got the cover off, so now basically we're going to go through and drain the oil. And yeah, this is going to be fun. Should have put the bloody gazebo up, eh? It's too late now. Just have to be careful to make sure rain doesn't get in the engine when I go to fill it up, so it shouldn't be too bad. More my electrical stuff that I'm worried about, but that's what it is.
You can't get any oil on any electrical components. Bit dumb question, but
no. Well, in the engine bay, it doesn't matter because everything in these cars is designed to get wet, not like fully submerged and for long periods of time. Like, you should never ever do a water crossing where basically your water's up to your, like, constantly, like, your whole bonnet of your car's under the water. You shouldn't really do that. Sometimes people do it because they have to, but, you know, it's common practice not to do that. So, at the moment I'm just going through getting the drain plug off.
your microphones become very unclear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that because of the rain?
I didn't even understand that. You're just 1K and above is just gone right now.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
So you can't hear that at all, Ray? Can you hear that?
It's almost like you're sitting on your microphone.
No, I'm not sitting on my microphone, it's in my ears.
No, I understand that. It's just, that's what it sounds like to me.
I don't understand how to fix that.
Oh.
This is a little bit too much rain.
No, just pull your earphones out and then push them back in.
Oh. Nah, I'm more thinking this is a little bit too much rain for me to do this.
Oh. It's starting to piss down rain, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now you're a lot clearer.
Right. Alright, so that's a lot better?
That's a hell of a lot better.
Alright. Yeah, this is a little bit too much rain.
Oh.
Problem is I've kind of already... My gazebo won't go over the top of it. Like, I can drive in to the front, but it's not wide enough. Was that?
Can it go over the engine bay?
It can. I think. Actually, no, I don't think my gazebo's wide enough.
Why don't we go over the story whilst the rain passes?
Yeah, we could do that. We could just wait a little bit. The engine bay needs a bit of a water down anyway. So what story you got in mind then?
So...
Oh, it's dying down there anyway. Haha.
Oh, awesome. Tell us an interesting fact about a bizarre animal. Or a bizarre animal. Fact about a fun animal.
Okay. What is a good one? Don't know.
What we got with a reptile? What about a goanna?
What about a goanna?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, goannas are more closely related to snakes than they are other lizard species.
Ah.
That's an interesting little fact. They are also venomous as well. A lot of people don't know that they are venomous. They do have a venom gland in the back of their jaw area, just like a snake is, so that's interesting. If you ever get bitten by a goanna or any monitor lizard or anything, my advice is to always go to the hospital, because if you don't, it can cause infections, which is one thing, but mainly the infection is caused due to the venom actually breaking down your cells around you, and they become necrotic, which can cause issues. Which is why, you know, your species like the Komodo dragons and stuff like that are so dangerous, because their venom is pretty potent and will kill pretty much full-grown animals. I wouldn't say you would ever have that issue with any of the other species, but it is something you got to be considerate of. Oh, fuck. I hate doing this.
Well, you're worried about getting oil spilled all over you?
Yeah. You only need to just crack it a little bit, and then once you've done that, you then just ease it off. I always just do the rest by hand. Oh, it's tight.
You ever drop the nut you ever drop the bolt in the oil pan?
I haven't, but there's always a first time. I always get it all over my hands though. Yeah. Now that's a good color oil. I'll describe what it looks like. So it's a black oil, no clogs, just a constant stream. And there's no oil, and there's no metal shavings in the bottom coming out at the moment, which is good. Which means my engine's nice and healthy. I can tell you a little bit of an interesting fact about different type of oils and the problems people face while using synthetic. So synthetic oil, to basically explain it, is recycled oil. So when you go and hand in your oil at those designated oil places, so like designated oil drop-offs, recycling depots, all that sort of stuff, you drop in your oil and then it goes off to a factory. The factory will then filter, sort, clean and separate the oil that you dropped off, and then they will add chemicals to it to restabilize it and basically make it reusable again. Now the bottom of these washers are magnetic as well, so if there's any metal filings on it, you got a problem. Fortunately, this car is pretty Mickey Mouse, so I like to keep a nice clean car. So once I've done that, I usually put it in paper towel just to clean it all up. Alright.
Is it magnetic purely to catch metal filings?
Yes. So it's a indicator to tell you whether one of your bearings has gone in your engine or something more severe has happened. If you see metal in your engine, just take it to a mechanic. It's the best way of doing it. If you're not a mechanic yourself, of course. So, never pay someone something that you can do yourself, which is why I'm doing this. It's not hard to service a car. It's pretty straightforward, so I always recommend just do it yourself. I was supposed to use these gloves instead of those gloves, but whatever, it happens. Okay, so now I'm going to get the wheel off and start taking the trim off.
So going back to your other point before, what kind of problems do people come across with synthetic oils?
So synthetic oils, the way they're made, I don't understand the reason why, but pretty much if you don't drive your car regularly, what will happen is crystallization will occur within the oil, and that gunks up a lot of your feed lines, and will cause issues. And also the crystallization causes wear and tear on your motor as well. So basically my advice is, if you don't do long distance driving regularly, or don't, you drive to the shops every day, and I'm talking about like 8 Ks a day, if that, do not buy diesel. Diesels will save you fuel if you do a lot of long trips and stuff like that, but they are not designed to travel short distances like a petrol is. And so with synthetics, which a lot of modern diesels are now, they crystallize and cause more wear and tear. So to overcome that, if you do that and you do own a diesel, what you do is you do more regular oil changes, and then that negates that issue. But yeah, I always recommend people who live locally and don't go anywhere, don't own a diesel. Just don't. You don't need it.
How long would you say it takes for the oil to crystallize?
Within 10,000 Ks.
Right.
Yeah. Especially those that live in cold climates. It's more of an issue in places like America and Canada and stuff like that, and a lot of the high end of our country as well. So, yeah. It's a thing that they don't really tell you, but you should really know. See, I service my car.
They won't tell you anything. They're never going to tell you anything. They're never going to tell you what you need to know. They're going to tell you what you need to know in order to buy a car. That's it.
That's it. So you got to keep an eye out for that sort of stuff. But yeah, it is a problem, particularly in modern cars. Like, you got all those anti-climate control. See, the anti-climate control stuff actually significantly decreases the lifespan of your car. The reason on diesels in particular, because diesels are not designed to basically breathe their own fumes in and suck in their own oil, things like that. What fucking size is it? I always forget. I always forget what size. This must be that one. This one's worn down. So it's a 21 mil.
You taking your wheel off?
So on the D40s, they're really stupid. The catch can sits upside down, right in under the engine. And because of that, oh, that's why. Because of that, it you have to take the wheel off, and you have to take the inner guard out, and you have to be real careful when you take the oil filter out, because you can get debris falling inside the oil, which is not what you want.
No.
So, best invention ever. I spent a lot of money on that, on these Milwaukee kit, and you know what? Do not regret it, no matter how much shit I got into spending $980.
Well, it's not a DeWalt, so there's your number one regret.
DeWalt don't make a good one of those, I have to admit. That's the reason why I went for the old red. What's wrong with your ears, Ray?
Her ears are really sensitive.
They're really sensitive. Why? What have I done? I've been naughty. Alright, so this is a good little safety procedure that I always do when it comes to working on a car and it's on jack stands. Put your wheel under your car. And that way, if it collapses, you won't die.
Well, not immediately anyway.
Yeah, that's it, not immediately. Right, so, I'm gonna lift this up.
So you're not taking apart the brakes or anything like that. You're not working on the wheel at all. You're just taking that away, so just for
so
safety.
I can get the trim out. So, and yeah, safety first, you know. So, oh yeah, I forgot those gloves too. That'll make life easier. We've got 4 pairs of gloves. My old man, just randomly go, want some gloves? And he gave me like 12 pairs of gloves.
You
Like, where the hell did you get them from? And he goes,
gloves?
it was like, I bought them in bulk. I bought them in
What kind
bulk.
of gloves?
Oh, they're just cheap Tool Pro gloves. Bunnings specials. But he bought gloves that were too small for him.
Alright.
So these tabs, you can't see them, but I'll show you what they look like when I get them off. They're a bit of a pain in the ass because they're pull tabs. So they have like an inner circle that you pop out, and once you pop them out,
Like a circlip or
come loose.
Completely different?
No, they're plastic trim tabs. They're real pain in the ass. The mechanic. Oh, if you hear my wheezing, it's because I'm still not 100% recovered from that virus that I had. It wasn't COVID, but it was something like COVID.
Yeah, I had something similar. It absolutely knocked me around.
So I bought. So these things here, that's what they look like. So you pull out that in the middle, and then it allows you to pull them out. But you push down in the middle, and it spreads like the little backing of it. And that's what that's for. And I bought myself ages ago one of these, so that way if I break them, I can replace them.
Nice.
Because when I first did my first service after she ran out of warranty, the mechanics had broken all of them.
Bastard.
Yeah, I know. So is what it is. So we'll just pull all these tabs out.
How long have you been servicing your own car for?
This car, this is the second service I've done on this one. She ran out of warranty last year. But I have been servicing all my cars for basically since I could drive.
Nice.
When you're poor, it's cheaper to do it yourself. So you do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is why I haven't got like a suspension lift or anything like that, because I can't afford it. So not yet,
What
anyway.
is suspension lift? Was it? I mean, I understand it lifts the car, but how does it lift the car?
So basically, what it does is it increases the length of your suspension in general, which therefore lifts your car up more.
Right.
So you put longer shocks and all that sort of stuff in it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That's how it works. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. But the problem is you can't go too tall, because if you go too tall, then you run into issues of brake lines being pulled too much, and you run into other issues as well. I can't recall off the top of my head. Alright, that's nice and easy. So now I've got a couple of screws. A couple of screws to undo and a couple of bolts. And then she's as good as out. And the rain stopped and the sun's come out. It's glorious.
Hell yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, it's just what you need. So you got to take the mud guard off as well, so you can do this.
What's behind the mud guard?
Just basically a fender. Screw straight into your fender. So the mud guard holds on the inner wheel guard, so the splash guard. That's what they also call it. So you just sort of undo it so it's like that. No, I have to undo it there as well. There. One screw down here. And I'll just put that there. Put the screws
Ray
in
just
order.
called you a mud knight.
A mud knight.
Mud
Mine
knight.
mud.
No idea.
I think Ray's crazy.
Definitely.
Yeah, you crazy, Ray? There was not one there, so. I'm just trying to not lose these screws. I like to, whenever I take anything apart, I like to have it in an order. You know, it's easier for me to put it all back on. I need my toolkit.
So behind the mud guard is the mud knight,
Is the Mud Knight. Well,
and behind
should-
the mud knight is the mud king. You just got a promotion, my dude.
oh, I'm the Mud King now.
You're the mud king now.
Ooh. Do I get a reward for being a Mud King?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Ray.
I don't reckon I do. I don't reckon I'm fortunate enough.
Oh.
What the fuck has happened?
I have a question. Do you have all
Yep.
your bits in your kit right there in your ratchet kit? Do you have all your bits?
Certainly do. You know how you stop it from going missing?
How?
You don't let anyone borrow
Yeah, right.
it. I am a stickler when it comes to tools, and I don't let people borrow my shit.
Yeah,
I do that on purpose because I don't trust people. People are assholes.
that's fair.
They'll either break it or they'll lose it, or they won't return it.
Yeah.
So,
Your
if you're,
bike goes missing.
if I'm with you, like I'll help you out if I'm with you. But if I'm not around, nope. Why are you not coming out?
Ray was just saying that. Title
Well, I don't think that's actually.
Oh my
holding.
god. So Ray's advice: put super glue on the bottom of the kit, so that way you won't lose the 10mm.
But then you won't also be able to use it. So,
Yeah.
so there's that too.
Yeah.
Alright, so to get the guard out, I've got this one bolt which has been a bit of a nickel sticker. I don't know why it's been a prick, but anyway, I'll deal with that. Oh, I gotta push my earbuds in. Alright, so you pretty much, so the way that works is it sort of goes inside the wheel well and then sort of folds in under the guard. So you gotta sort of, where the mud flap is, you gotta sort of push it in and sort of find a spot you can reel it out.
Here's a question I've always had: how long does it take for the oil to drain out under optimal conditions?
Oh, about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, not very long. Pretty much by the time I've done this, it'll be drained. Oh, shit. Gotta take that off. What is something?
So do you take the oil you take out of your engine, you just take that to the tip, right?
So, I have a oil dump container
Yep.
that I drain everything into. When it gets full, I'll take it down to a designated oil dump site. You might recommend to put in the rubbish bin.
Hold that question when you whole questions or statements when you're drilling. Can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't drop it in the bin. I know people do, but I'm saying don't. So the reason why I have to take this off, some people don't, but I have to because this actually oh, shit on my face. Anyway. I should be very close to that. This is the way it works. Safety. Okay. There we go. Cool. Ah, that's why it's not coming loose.
Is it clipped on, or you got one left?
No, there's a bolt on the other side.
Ah.
It makes me wonder where the other bolt is. I must have lost it. Whatever. Shit happens. Alright, so that is now out, so I can take the guard out. Alright, so now that this is all nice and loose, just go in here and just work it out. Without breaking these. I don't know if you can see it, but there's
Yeah,
these
it's
little
good when you don't
plastic
break
tabs. You don't want to break these.
No.
So I'll put them back on. Done. Alright, I'm going to wear safety glasses when I do this. Amount of mud coming out of it. That's right, Ray, I said it. So is there another animal question you want to ask?
I'm not sure if I've asked you this already, but I'm going to ask you again anyway. What's your favorite animal?
My favourite animal is wedge-tailed eagle.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're a pretty smart bird. They're fun to work with. And they have really good memory. They like there's these two wedge-tailed eagles that were at Arambira Wildlife Park at some place the whiles out, and they used to remember me every time I come visit and play chasey.
Oh, right.
Along the fence and stuff when I was a kid. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that's why I like them. Oh no. Clip came off. Trims are probably the worst thing about cars.
How so?
Because they just never work properly. They're never easy to deal with. Just such a pain in the ass. Okay. She's out. It's a lot of this is see in the Commodore when I had a Commodore, I would have already done the oil change by now. But this
is
thing,
one last step in the wheel that you're just holding you back, right?
yeah, it just takes so much longer. So while I'm in here, I'm having a look around, having an inspection, looking at all the different, because a lot of the electrical components are actually wired through here, which is why this is such a finicky job. You don't want oil going everywhere because all your electrical cables are here, and I don't want to explain to everyone what happens with plastics and rubber when oil is exposed to it. What the fuck is that?
Oh.
I just found a random H1 adapter just hanging there. Previous owner of this car was a farmer, and he did not treat it well, which most farmers don't. So it's kind of So anyway,
more or less have to drive their cars into the dirt.
Pretty much, they don't give a shit about them. They usually upgrade them when the warranty runs out. Or the next model comes out. So this car, when I bought it, had very little kilometers on it because the driver, the owner, the farmer dude, he pretty much once the NP300 came out, he got rid of it. So that's why it did very few Ks, and he only used it to do the shopping. All right, so So to get your oil filter off, you use one of these, and when you tighten it, it goes on the back of your oil filter. You tighten it, and
You just show up to the camera, put it.
this. When you tighten it, it will close around like that, and then it will screw it off. The trick is with oil filters, you only do them hand tight because when you run your vehicle, they run under pressure and they'll actually vacuum seal themselves.
Oh,
So, yeah, you don't need to do them overly tight. Also, for D40 Navaras, particularly this model, because this is the last of the D40s, this is the last D40 series, don't use aftermarket oil filters. It's not that they
you run into with that.
So the way, because oil filters in aftermarket situations are structured in a way to compensate for other brands, so like other brands of cars, so they don't just cater to one type of car, they cater to like a multiple of different cars. And because of that, their oil, sorry, my bag's running away. The way the holes are located on the oil filter are just ever so slightly off. And when it comes to this car's very peculiar on how it does things. So even those slight millimeter off-center holes will cause it not to pressurize. So essentially, on this car, it won't run aftermarkets well. You can do it, but you might run into a problem every now and then, where your oil light will stay on, it won't come off, which means it's not pressurizing.
Oh shit!
So,
That'd annoy you pretty damn quickly.
yeah, it's not a nice problem, that's for sure. But, anyway, it happens. Alright, so because of the way the oil, this is my oily rag, because of the way the oil filter sits upside down in this little cup, which I can't show you, but I wish I could, you kind of, I can't use this in here anyway, so that's alright. Use those little rags that I got there. You kind of can't, use this. You've got to be careful with the oil on the plastic. So what I do is I get a rag like that, and I just get in here, and I shove it behind it and sort of wrap around and protect all the components that you don't want oil on. So the air conditioning system in this car, and the heater and the pumps and everything, like the vacuum pumps in here and everything you don't want oil on, is right underneath it. So what
a good design.
I know, Nissan, you're an idiot. So anyway, it is what it is. So you get in there and you just sort of poke around it, stuff in behind it. Try and get a lint-free cloth so you don't get shit dropping down in your engine. Alright, so once you've done that, get your oil filter tool, put it on the back. Oh, sorry, this is very tight in here. Now you only need to crack it. Once you crack it, you can hand undo it.
Right.
Problem is, it's so fucking tight.
Are oil filters only vacuum sealed when the engine is running, or is it vacuum sealed?
Once they seal up, they seal up until you.
And it stays vacuum sealed.
Once they seal up, they're pretty much sealed until you take it off.
Oh, okay.
So now the thing is with this tool, once you do this, you obviously can't reuse the oil filter, but you should really never reuse an oil filter once you take it off anyway. You only take it off if you're going to replace it. So I'm slowly working it while also being gentle on all the lines around here. I only got about less than a quarter of a maneuver in here.
With the oil filter, do you take it to the same place as you take the oil
Yeah,
for disposal? Yep.
yeah, you do.
Okay, that
You
makes
can.
sense.
What I do is I actually put the oil filter back in the new one's box. So the seal's broken, I just unwind it just a little bit so air can get in it, and then I just let it sit and drain more because there's a lot of oil in the filter still, and because it's
Yeah.
sealed, there isn't air getting in it. So when you crack it, it will start draining, and then it will start coming down the bottom. So we'll just wait here for a little bit for it to drain more, and then that will help later on. Because when I get the oil filter out, I got to get in with paper towel and clean the oil cup that it sits in, the filter cup. And the reason why you do that is if it isn't a clean surface that you're putting the new one on, any grit, grime, or even old oil, it won't seal. And if it doesn't seal, it will, like, I'm not cheating you, like, when you turn your car on, it will shoot oil everywhere. Your entire engine bay will be covered in oil. I've seen it.
Oh,
I've seen it on a lot of videos and forums on D40s. So make sure you clean that cup. It's not hard. You just go on a couple of times with the paper towel and you just clean it out. So yeah.
How do you know it's completely clean and clear? Is it with your paper towel? If you go over it and you get nothing come back from nothing on it afterwards, that's when you say, "Yep,
Yeah,
clean."
you get you just get a discoloration. Pretty much, it'll just be slightly slightly greyish, which means you've pretty much cleaned it. So that's more than enough to put the new one on. So, and then when you put the new one on, you get clean, fresh oil. So I open up my new oil that I'm changing it into, and you just run a sheen of oil around the oil ring of the filter, and that will help seal it and stop it from leaking. So
Is the oil ring on the no, never mind. Is it on the new oil filter or is it on the car?
So I'll show you later, but it's pretty much like every oil filter has like a seal. It's an oil ring, it's an O-ring, and it's basically kind of glued on. And then it sits in like a little channel around. It's just a round, flat O-ring. That's all it is, just a piece of rubber, essentially. So, alright, that should be done by now. So now this is the fun part. So I've got to try and get this out. So I pull it up and out and flip it all at the same time without spilling oil anywhere. So it's not hard to do. Well, it's not hard, it's just finicky.
Yeah, bet.
Alright, so she's off. So while the cup's still there, I keep it kind of like a bowl. I sort of keep it in the cup while I'm flipping it up, right? And then come through, and I miss the drive shaft from the steering column. The steering column, and she's out. So this is, see that black ring there? That's the oil ring I was telling you about, Swift. Right. So now I just start cleaning it. Just get paper towel and go down on it.
Right.
Take that rag out now too, so. So I'll leave the towel in there actually. So I also clean the shaft that the oil filter twists onto. Oh no. Oil dripped everywhere. What the fuck did happen? So look at that. Should put on the other gloves. This. Oh. Why didn't I do this beforehand?
Brilliant.
Watching Hunter fail. Just fail at life.
Ray's just gone ahead with a R&R.
Yep, that's right, Ray. Very simple. This is why I always put a drop sheet down too. Oh, I need to get that rag out, because if I don't get that rag out, it's going to cause issues. So I need to clean all the oil that's in here anyway, so. How the hell did that happen? I was just watching it seep out, and what the fuck? It's alright. So what I'll do after I've done this, I'll get degreaser in here and just spray it all down. Degreaser won't hurt any of the hoses or anything, and it will deactivate the oil, will stop it from eating into the hoses. Should probably get onto it now, actually. Just make sure I don't get it in the cup. Get it around the places where it dripped oil on, and then come in later and wipe it off with a towel. That should stop that from causing issues.
Breaks down oil.
Yeah, it breaks the oil down. Helps reduce the chemicals in it that sort of attack things. Oh, so clean this up as well. I'm gonna have to throw this drop sheet out later. She's no good now.
Why is that?
Oh, because I've got so many holes in it.
Oh, fair enough then.
Yeah. So this is the point of the drop sheet. Just going in here now and cleaning everything up. Making sure as well I don't get anything in the oh, for fuck's sake. Going everywhere. When I get the new filter on, I'll have to definitely just spray it all down. But yeah, like on the old Laser and the Commodore and that, I never had to do any of this stuff because on most cars, the oil filter is actually orientated the right way, which is the bottom of the filter is facing the ground. So gravity keeps the oil in, so when you undo it, the oil stays in there. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to do it this way. Maybe it was something to do with maybe they having it the other way where it was too much pressure on the engine and the oil pump. I don't know. But
or it negated the effect of the oil filter altogether.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There would be a reason for it, but it's a pain in the ass no matter what. So just get it all nice and clean. It's pretty much it's getting there. Takes a little while because it makes such a mess.
Which car in that you've owned would you say would be the easiest to service?
Holden Commodore. Without a doubt.
What is that?
Everything was easy to work on. Everything was cheap to work on. They were very robust engine on the Ecotech motors, which was probably my favourite motor actually to ever work on. So yeah, I think they were just super easy. The only thing that was a pain in the ass was the spark plugs. They weren't as straightforward as say Ray's car, but that you know what, that everything was easy. The alternator was easy. The sump was easy to get to. The car had shitty jack points. It's the only downside, but it was a bit of a pain in the ass to jack it up. But yeah, it was just overall really simple, easy car to do. Ford Falcons are the same as well. They're pretty easy to work on. Hardest car I've ever seen and helped someone work with is probably BMW. They are shit. Them and Mercedes.
Yeah, they're just all over the place. Who cares? Just shove it in, sort of type of engine bay.
Everything is compact. Everything is plastic. Everything is fragile.
Ah, piss.
And they have these stupid skid guards on the bottom of their cars. That's all plastic, and you have to always take it off. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, bash plates are annoying on full drives, but they're clipped in, half of them, and the clips are really fragile and easy to break. So it's just they're a nightmare, and everything's expensive in Australia on a fucking Beamer. So unless it's an older model and there's a lot of parts around, but if it's a new one, hell no, I won't touch on a 10-foot pole. Just because it's more expensive doesn't mean it's better. Alright,
That is true.
so we can now put the new filter on. She's all nice and clean in there. There's nothing inside, no residue or anything like that. So this is the oil ring. This is a nice new. You want to know the part number? That's the part number. I also buy another crush washer because he's only a couple of dollars, so why not? So I'm going to put on a pair of gloves. With the gloves on, I'm going to put my hand in the cup to make sure there's nothing, like no paper towels on in there or anything like that.
Is there anything about oil filters or particular oil filters that people should be aware about in terms of the coating on the side, or is it pretty much all virtually the same?
It's all pretty much the same. Look up, if you want to find out what car suits, what oil filter suits yours, just look up the car. Worst comes to worst, go OEM, which is factory. At least with factory, you know it's going to work on your vehicle. Because like I said, like this car, some cars are finicky with that sort of thing. Like, a good example is the fuel filter on this car has proprietary fitting, which means that you cannot buy an aftermarket filter with this. If you change it to an aftermarket filter, it will throw up a fault code. Now there are ways around it, that people take this proprietary plug and they detach it and they plug it like in along the wiring loom of the engine bay, and they do that to trick it, thinking that it's plugged in when the water sensor is not plugged in. So there are ways around it, but I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. So nothing's in there that's bad. That's what we'd like to see. Right. So what I do is I get a paper towel, get an oil filter, get my clean oil. Never use old oil, use clean. And I roll up the paper towel in the oil, so I'm going to piece it out. And just sort of tip the oil on it, just enough to get it going. And
So
then
a little
I
bit
get
of oil in the oil filter.
a little bit of oil, so like just that much. You just get your fingers on it and just slightly smear it on the ring, like that. And what this does, this will help seal it and just help it seat on there properly. Doesn't need to be much, just needs a little bit of film. Sometimes if that doesn't work very well, which I think it's just that. It's more enough. Just dab it on there and then smooth it out. Just like that.
So what's the point of doing that?
So if you do it dry, there's a chance that when you're screwing it on, it doesn't create an even seal. By doing that, it pretty much lubes it, and it will spins freely and actually compress down properly. That's what I've been told. Someone could correct me, but that's what I've been told. And I've done it all my life, and I've never had issues. So, no, if it works, don't change it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, what I also do, so I've got it on the oil filter shaft right now. I go to the left a little bit, so I don't cross-thread it, and then I start slowly throwing it on. And then once she's on, no chance of cross-threading, spit it all the way down. I'll take the gloves off so I can get it on there hand tight. Once this is on, then I can put the sump plug back on, and we're good to go.
Just hand tight does the trick. You don't need the special tool.
No, you do not. You do not need to over tighten it. No. Just basically keep going until you can't go no more with hand tight. As you can see, I am putting a lot of pressure. You can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, she's on. Right. Also, it is advised not to put the guards and that back in until after you've topped the oil up and started the car up, because there's no way to tell if your oil filter's leaking with all your guard and that back up as well. So that's also a good thing to remember. Alright. Alright, she's still draining oil, so let her do that. Just got to get under there with some degreaser just to clean some of the shit off. So what's your favourite animal, Spiffy?
Sloth.
You like the sloth, eh?
Yeah.
Why do you like the sloth so much?
It's the most bizarre reason. So, you know the whole concept, the old and the weak are doomed. So, you know, if you're not fast enough, you'll most likely die under Darwinism and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The sloth is the biggest middle finger to that I can think of, because it moves so slowly that moss grows on its back, and it has to eat very particular foods, otherwise it'll die. And somehow, and it's apparently the species is billions of years old, and in spite of all of its downfalls, somehow it's still alive.
Yeah, the good old sloth is a fascinating creature, and their main predator's one of the world's largest eagles, which is the harpy eagle as well. That thing's huge. And like, if you ever seen a video of a harpy eagle taking a sloth, it's kind of funny, because like, this eagle's huge and it just comes in, just takes it and flies off with it, and the sloth can't do anything about it. It's so funny.
The sloth wouldn't be fast enough to do anything about it.
Well, that's it, you know. Alright, so now I'm popping the oil filter, the oil filler up just to get air in. Try and get as much air in the system to purge the oil out. Probably wondering why as well I'm wearing these clothes. These are my get dirty clothes.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much.
So, you know, it's always good to have clothes that you can sort of get dirty in and don't give a shit. I also have a tidbit if, I mean, I haven't done it yet, but if you ever struggle getting oil out of your clothes, use cloudy ammonia in your washing machine. So you put your clothes in your washing machine and use cloudy ammonia, and that gets rid of pretty much all of it, and also cleans your washing machine. Win-win.
Is it a particular? Is it called cloudy ammonia, or do you need to add two substances
It's literally
together?
called cloudy ammonia. You can buy it in the store. It's just a normal cleaning product. Still got a little bit left in the engine. It's just dripping out. We'll just keep waiting until that's pretty much stopping. So there's no point, going any further.
So you have to wait till it's virtually bone dry to put more oil in it?
Yeah, I would. I always recommend it. It's the point of the oil change is getting the dirty oil out and putting the new stuff in. So it's only it's dripping fast enough that I wouldn't do it just yet. So I'll wait a little bit longer. It also doesn't help that this isn't as level as I possibly could go, because of the driveway and all that. It's just not doing it. I think that's pretty much covered that though. Still dripping ever so slowly.
Well, you're certainly doing the best with what you got.
That's it. So, if it was on a hoist, which one day in my future I'd like to have one, it wouldn't be a problem. But I don't have a hoist, so can't help it. Yeah, it's dripping about one every second, so it's a bit. If this was at a mechanics, they would have already put this up and it would be done by now. For me, I like to get it a little bit better. It's getting there. Certainly emptying, that's for sure. So now that she's done 120 thousand Ks, I'll also need to start doing the service more often. So when you hit about 120,000 on a diesel motor, on these cars in particular, it's good to go from every 10,000 to every 5,000.
All right.
Then you'll get your longevity, because technically speaking, a diesel motor should last 1,000,000 kilometers. The way they're designed, the way they're robust, in theory. In practicality, modern diesels don't last 300, 400,000. This is where the emission problems come into it. I honestly am a truly believer that the emission problems that they've got, with these, like the emission control problems that Europe has forced upon the world, has done nothing but cause more destruction of the environment than just simply encouraging companies to come up with better systems to make their cars more efficient, therefore reduce emissions. This car, I use a lot of different type of additives and other sort of stuff to reduce the emissions. This has very little emission controls on it compared to like a new car. It does have it, but not good. It's shit, breaks them, and on this car in particular, it just doesn't do that well. So to compensate for it, I basically run my car better using different type of additives and stuff. And I've tested the exhaust and stuff on the end of it, and it produces far less emissions than it did with those control measures that they have on it. So, I mean, don't remove the control measures; they're not removed. That is illegal. But I just turned them off to do a test, and yeah, they just kill your motor. Stupid. They could do better, in my opinion. Companies can do better, but they don't. They would rather just go the cheap option and be done with it. Okie dokie. So she's slow enough that I'm going to drop the sump, put the sump plug in. So this is where I So we'll clean the sump plug as clean as possible, get all the shit off it. Cool. Get my new washer. Get the socket. The old washer from the other one. Okay. So have you got any sloths near you, Spliffy?
No sloths near here. Not that
I mean,
I'm
like
aware of.
at the zoo.
Oh,
Not like sloths aren't exactly native to Australia, so I get you're not going to get sloth.
yeah. I don't know where. I don't even know where the closest zoo is to where I live. So.
Oh really?
Not really. Oh, this is one there. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen one. So. Also, the noise they make is adorable as well. They're
It's like the old. Have you ever seen the "What's Up" dub on sloths?
Oh yeah, I have.
What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. You know, that's one thing I actually miss in this day and age is ads. The ads that we used to have were so much better than the ads they are now. The ads they have now suck. At the "What's Up" or, you know, "Not Happy Jan." Remember that one?
Oh yeah, I remember Not Happy Jam.
Fucking classics, mate. Classics. Alright. So now I am doing up the sump plug. Same thing with sump plug. You don't overdo it. You just nip it up. Because you got to be careful with the sump plug, because the sump. The best way to put it. The sump is made out of very thin tin. Like, you can put a hole through a screwdriver with it. And yeah, and if you over tighten it, you can actually strip the threads and kind of damage the sump itself. So you only usually just nip them up. You don't need them to be overly tight or torqued down to crazy torques. Just hand tights. Well, not hand tight, but like normal ratcheting strength is more than enough. So now that I've done that, I'll just go in here and do a bit of a clean. Clean the oil
Ray
off.
was a fan of that corn ad. That farmer thought it was
Oh,
great,
yeah.
but it's like
Yeah, the
corn.
Marge, the rains are here. I love those. They're so good. Okay. It's a pity that that this has been put off for such a long time, eh?
Oh well, better late than never.
Yeah. Because, you know, obviously now there's hardly anyone really watching. That's fine.
Well, I mean, now that
it
you're
was last minute.
going from 10,000 Ks to 5,000 Ks, we can do this more often.
Yeah, although I probably wouldn't. It is hard work setting all this up. But I wanted to do this as a thank you to my community and anyone who watches this. I want to thank you. You know, reaching 120, subs is a big achievement for me.
127, exactly.
127. Wow, look at that. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I've been on it since I was a kid, making machinima content through Halo and stuff like that. And, you know, I haven't really ever had anyone really take notice of it until now. And it just means a lot to me that I have helped people out, that I get positive messages. I get people asking me for help, you know, every so often. It's just really nice that I'm actually helping people with something that I actually care about and am passionate about. Working on cars is a lot of fun. even though you sweat and bleed and get angry. There's been more than enough times where I was raging so hard, ready to come out and see what was going on. So, you know, to me, it's just a lot of fun. It's like a big puzzle that I have to sort of problem solve, get working, and I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, so 127. It's a pretty big accomplishment for me. So I've been on this platform for over 10 years, I think.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I can't remember when I started. It was 2009, maybe? I don't know. A lot of the original videos that I had put out as a kid, I did delete a lot of them because they were not safe for YouTube anymore. but now, yeah, there's some old ones on there that I re-uploaded. So, all right, so now we've done that, I will now need to start filling her up. Problem is I can't reach up very tall to do the oil. So this is where Spliffy pack out is handy.
Which one, sorry?
Safety step.
Oh, yeah.
This is strong enough. If I stand on the sides here, it's more than strong enough for me to get up here. You're going to see my arse lots today. I'm sorry. Alright, so we can now start filling her up. She takes 6.9 litres.
Nice.
Just make sure there's no oil leaking down there. No, it's all good. So this is the final stages. This is the yay, we've made it this far. I want to wear gloves. These ones in particular. So, did you end up solving the audio issues with our mutual friend the other day? Yesterday? Not really.
Well, it was like an option, but there was another issue, which sort of, if there was a lag issue.
Oh, yeah. That kind of sucks.
Which the only thing I could really think of was, I told him later, I think it was 2 minutes after I left, I went back and told him that there might be a way to solve that issue, which would be to, I can't remember if it was increase or decrease the buffer size. I think it's, no, I think it's decrease the buffer size, which should decrease the lag. It'll put a lot more work on your CPU, but you'll get information, you'll get that digital processing done a lot faster.
Okay. That's good that you're able to sort of help a little bit. So, you know. So how are you finding Halo Infinite now that they've updated everything?
Well, when they've updated everything, so it has Forge in it, and it has a co-op campaign. I'm just waiting for them to fix it so it doesn't crash every fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's the next update I'm looking forward to.
What update's that?
When they fix everything, when they actually fix the functionality of the game, as opposed to, oh hey, we made you this most disgusting armor set, so we could even imagine it. Even it makes Halo 4 look good. It's that bad.
So I like to, when I pour oil, I pour it to the side so I can control it more. Spilled some oil on my vacuum lines. Jeez, I'm not doing very well, bloody stopping the oil from spilling everywhere today. It's fucking stuffing up left right, everywhere. Great. I spent so much money on these pulley systems, so I really don't want them fucking up me. Oh, great.
What did you do?
I've got oil on my main crank pulley. Not the pulley itself, but like in behind it.
Ah,
That's not what I wanted. This is a problem with being short. I need to go over the car with a hose, rinse it all off after this. So, it's alright.
well, it's easy enough to compensate for being short with a ladder, but a little bit more difficult to cut your legs off to be a bit shorter.
Yeah, yeah. There's that. Just got to make sure I don't overfill it, that's all.
Yeah, that's fair. How do you measure out
So
the amount of oil you need? So how do
it
you
actually
tell
has
when
a
you're done?
measurement there. Yeah.
Ah,
So I'll put the getting pretty close to the literage that it has. So this takes 6.9. So when I get to the
nice.
2 liter mark, I'll measure it with a dipstick, and then
Oh yeah.
slowly increment it from there. So that's what I'm going to do now. So this car is also very peculiar when it comes to oils. This takes a 5-watt 30. Do not use anything else.
So what
You could get away with 5-watt 40. It's viscosity and working temperatures.
Oh, okay.
So that's what it means. So now that the oil is mostly in there, I'm also looking down the bottom, making sure the sump's not leaking. So I'm going to do that now. She's bone dry. No drips, no spills. That's good. Alright, so we'll wait a little bit for it to go down to the engine. Clean the. So I go through a lot of paper towel when I do a service on a car because I try and keep everything clean while I'm going along. So. Takes me a lot longer to do a service than anyone else, but I don't mind. Like I said, I enjoy it. And
Process.
yeah, it is therapeutic, and it also, it's my car. If this car breaks down, I can't go to work. So, so it has to work. Therefore, I am going to take quite a few hours to do it. Although we haven't been doing this for that long, I don't think. How long has it been?
80 minutes.
There you go.
20.
It hasn't even been that long, so. If it was on a hoist, it would be easier. Because, on a hoist, I could just drop it back down to where I can reach it as well. So there's 2 little notches on this stick. One is low, one is full. You wait until the oil is on the full mark, and then you know that she's all good. The best option I find is when you're doing this, is you go in the middle between low and high. Once you're in the middle, turn your car on, because the high stands for hot, and get it to cycle through, and check it. And then if feel a little bit more, and then you don't get it to the hot mark. So the reason why is because while you're driving, she's on the low mark right now, so she's nearly there. So a little bit more and should be there. Um, and then you just keep topping up as you're going along, and then that way you will not damage your car, because as long as it's more than low and it's not more than high, or more than the H mark, more than the hot mark, you're right, because it's supposed to be at the hot mark when it's warm. So if you go in the middle, by the time it warms up, that will go to the hot mark roughly. So the expansion. So. Other cars, it's low in F. This car is low in H, but the H pretty much stands for F anyway. Just a little bit. Also got to remember this car's also uneven as well, so I'm just under the 2 litre mark now out of a 7 litre bottle. So that gives me, you know, about 1.8 litres left. So what I'm going to do is I'll top it up just to the 1 litre mark. And then that way I know there's enough oil that it's not going to damage the car. Because that will be 6 litres, which will be just above the low mark. If my calculations do me justice. And then I can start the car and check it. Okay. Alright, she's good enough for me to start. Because yeah, the engine is slightly back, so it's going to say that it's more than what it actually is. But even if there's a fair bit of oil in the bottom of the sump that I don't know about, the amount that I put in there will still not have overflown it. Right, so we've done that. So what games, you got any games you're looking forward to, Spliffy?
Oh, sorry, you dropped out halfway through.
So is there any other games that you're looking forward to?
Project Calypso, I think is what it's called.
Well, that does look interesting.
It's the successor to Dead Space, the spiritual successor to Dead Space.
Yeah.
And I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it does. It looks really, really good. Actually excited to see that one too, to be honest. That'd be kind of, yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the oil cap on it. And I'm going to start her up, get it pressurized, and then look for any oil leaks. And once I don't see any oil leaks, I'll put everything back in, put it back on the ground, and continue topping her up. So, I'm going to start her up now. So the oil lamp has come off, which is great, which means that there's pressure in the system.
Your audio cut out.
I said that the oil,
Oh, there we go.
I said the oil light turned off, which means that there's pressure in the system, which means I have a seal on my filter.
Your audio is cutting in and out. Your vocals is cutting in and out.
So it's probably because the car was running.
Yeah, that's fair.
I said that the oil light turned off, which means that there's pressure in the system. So that's good.
Okay.
Alright, so you can drop it down. So I got to put the trims back in and put all that back together and put it down and then continue doing it. So it's good. That's what we want.
So
No.
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. No leaks.
Excellent.
And obviously I'll keep an eye on it throughout time as well, because obviously leaks can still occur. And if there's no leaks, then
5,000
winning.
kilometers.
Yeah, we'll get it up to pressure, you know, get up to speed and heat. That was just a pressure test to make sure that when the oil was under vacuum, that it wasn't causing issues. Now we'll go through the fun part, putting all this back in. Like I said, it's not fun. I need. Whoop. Ah. Okay. Sound like a broke, but it's okay. That is not.
Hear a message. Snap.
It's really weird because this actually sits on the inside, like that.
The one sound you don't want to hear when you're at the workshop.
I reckon the one sound, if you're in a workshop with a mechanic, the one sound you don't want to fucking hear is a kaboom when an engine detonates.
Oh.
I reckon that would be a sound you do not want to hear. Alright. Last thing anybody would want is fucking engine to blow up on them when they're responsible for it.
Oh, that would suck.
You know what really pisses me off these days is mechanics in general, that rip people off.
Yeah. Nah, that's fair.
You know, like, they'll break something and then won't own up to it.
Yeah, you've had that happen a couple of times, haven't you?
I have had that happen a couple of times. I won't name them, but there are mechanics out there that are really fucking dodgy, and they do not deserve your service. And although when things go right, they're fine, but when things go wrong, which is when things go wrong, it's how they handle it is what determines whether they're a good mechanic or not. If they go, well, I'm really sorry, this happened, you know, whatever, let's try and fix it together. You know, that's what you want, but when they gaslight you and think that you try and make it out you're an idiot, we had a bit of a different story. So, yeah, that's happened to me. I've had that happen by a mechanic. Mechanic tried telling me that mechanics don't get grease on them. That's right. I've had a mechanic said to me that mechanics are the most cleanliest people you ever know. Right, you've seen how much I over clean, and even my hands are still, my shirt's all covered in shit. Right. Full of shit, mate. So, it happens. There are wankers out there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there are also good guys out there as well. People don't know about them. But the problem is a lot of the times they because a mechanic's job is a shit job. These mechanics are a little bit different. They, I'm gonna say, have it lucky to an extent. They get to work on all sorts of different things and do all sorts of different things. But normal general automotives, they don't get paid much, and they you kind of get treated like shit. So I can understand why some of them do it, but it's their bosses that I'm complaining about.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't really had any issues like that, I must admit, but the people I go to are really, really good.
Yeah, well, that's it. I find a lot of the time the small business guys are alright.
Yeah.
This is why I do this. It's because I've had bad experiences. I've had mechanics break stuff and not own up to it. And then they go, oh, if you take a photo of it beforehand, it's like, well, no, that's not how it works. And if anyone out there's listened to this and has had this issue, I'm going to tell you right now, you do not have to prove that it wasn't in working condition prior to dropping it off. Because the way Consumer Affairs works is it is put in with the assumption that it was working fine before you put in, unless obviously you're putting in to get something fixed, which is obviously presumed it's not working. But everything else in your car is always presumed working. So, for example, if somehow you put your car in to mechanics and it doesn't have a cracked radiator, and you know if it has a cracked radiator, when you pick it up and then you go 5 minutes down the road, by the way, this didn't happen to me, this happened to someone I know. And then next minute, your entire coolant is dumped on the floor, and you find that your plastic radiator has been cracked on the top. You are very well in your rights to have them replace that, cost free, because they damaged it. And if they turn around and say it was like that prior, you say, if it was like that prior, I wouldn't be able to drive here, would I?
Yeah.
Can't really drive anywhere without water in your radiator. So
That's fair, otherwise your engine kind of breaks.
yeah, that's definitely how things break. So yeah, so everyone listening in, keep an eye out for a dodginess like that. Shit. Should have put the bloody stuff that up. These things are a pain in the ass if they're not exactly lined up correctly. You will never get them in. So these aren't exactly lined up correctly. So just got to loosen it and then pull it towards me a little bit. Like that. There we are. So yeah, so just a little bit of tidbit with mechanics. Stand up for yourself, but don't get abusive, because if you get abusive, you won't get any help.
Yeah.
You got to be smart about it. And if you go in and they just gaslight you, like what happened to me with one particular company, you're not going to get anywhere with them. The only way you can get anywhere with them is sue them, and to be honest, it's a whole problem in itself, and they know it. If you have the money, bloody go for it. Sue the crap out of them, because they won't keep doing it if they get consequences, you know. So, but I don't have money, so I just have to never go back again, that's all. The bloody little tab thing on this keeps popping out. Just gotta finish cleaning all this in here. Really get in here and alright. Cool. I'm going to now drain the oil out of the pan. But first, I need to put this back up there and then I'll get a hose and he'll just clean it out while I got the wheel off. So, Spliffy, what was your first car?
First car, my first car was the 2003 Toyota Corolla.
Oh yeah, good reliable car.
Very reliable. So I never really found out, to tell you the truth. It took me about 5 days to total it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
So I used to work for McDonald's, and
Yeah.
I'd work, and this one particular week was just horrifying. So it was like something major was on every single day of the week. I think it was one of those 8 days a week type of work weeks.
Yeah.
When I was going to uni. And so I got my driver's license. I think I was at uni Monday and Tuesday. Those days are always really long. And then I got my red Ps on Wednesday.
You there?
Oh, no. Still here.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't know if I did something wrong. That's why I stopped. And then I got my red Ps on the Wednesday, and on the Thursday I did 4 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then on the Friday I did 4 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then on the Saturday I did 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. Sunday, 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then they asked me if I could work 4 a.m. I thought, yeah, sure, why not? Sounds like easy money. And then, and then I was so tired on the Sunday that I forgot to set my alarm clock. I just went to bed and I fell asleep for a really long time. And then the next thing, I wake up and I get a message from my manager, and she said, and they asked me, hey, are you still doing the open this morning? And I look at the time, I'm meant to start at 4 a.m. and it's currently 4:15. I thought, oh no. So I get all my belongings and I get changed, I get all my belongings, get in my car and drive off.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted, like I'm beyond exhausted at this point. So I get down to just about where I need to get to. I think get about 10 minutes down the road, and I think to myself, because I left in such a rush, I didn't know if I grabbed my wallet or not, and I didn't know if I needed to show my ID up to get pulled over by police.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh no. So I looked over to my passenger side, my passenger seat, I meant to say, sorry.
Yeah.
And just to see if I could see my wallet, and because no logic is going in my mind at all. It doesn't even occur to me, like, no, I wouldn't even see my wallet because it's dark, it's early at night.
Yeah.
But that didn't occur to me, and then I just look up because I hear the sound has changed. I look up, and I've drifted off the road, and I've started to drift off the road into the direction straight into a light post. So I overcorrect the steering to try and get back over the road onto the road, but I way overcorrect it.
Yeah.
And instead I virtually turned the car 180 degrees, but because I was going 90 kilometers an hour, I put myself into a drift. And so I drifted the car off the road into a ditch, uprooted a tree, did 540 degrees in the car, and hit got rear-ended by a tree. And finally landed. I don't think I've actually sent you the pictures of my car or the aftermath.
No, I don't think I've ever seen them. Yeah.
No, I never sent them to you. I need to do that. But yeah, that was a really hard. That was a big wake up call. That was 4:32 in the morning.
Yeah. That's
and-
insane, man. Just saying. That's insane.
Yeah, it was nuts, and so it's safe to say I didn't go to work that day.
Nah, I wouldn't either.
That was a public holiday as well. And one of my co-workers, once I got back to work, I think the next day or whatnot, my co-worker came up to me and was like, "Man, you missed out on double pay. It was a public holiday." And I thought, man, that's the least fucking of my concerns right now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, double pay. It's, you know, like that was
Yeah, doesn't help right now.
my health and, you know, my car.
Yeah, car was a total write-off immediately. There was no
Yeah.
fucking two ways about it.
No.
Oh, also the dashboard. You know where the lower dash is, right where the handbrake is.
Yeah.
That all popped out because I bananaed
wow.
the freaking car. Like that all popped out. The rear windscreen shattered. And just everything was just all over the place. It was bad.
That sucks.
So, and then when I went through I called the insurance company and all that sort of stuff, and so because it was my fault, I had to pay the premium on the insurance, which worked out to be roughly the amount that I had in my bank account, which fucking sucked.
So your entire bank account had to go.
Yeah, my bank account went, and my insurance doubled. My insurance policy doubled to about $1,600 a year.
Ooh, jeez.
And yeah,
that's roughly how much I pay for this.
Yeah, right.
A little bit more actually. It's like 1,800.
Far out.
Yeah. Commercial vehicles are always more expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get it on the wheel. This is such a heavy wheel.
Oh, funny part is about that whole situation is the aftermath.
Yeah.
So that particular stretch of road, the speed limit was at 100 and it went down to 90. And then over the last couple of years, they've been putting up barricades on the side of the
Oh, really?
Like those barricades on the side of the road, almost specifically exactly where I went off the road as well. So I thought, oh, okay.
At least you got some health concerns sorted.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway. Oh, actually, you know what? I wonder if
So this is just really fucking heavy. There we go. The downsides of going a bigger tire. If anyone's looking at getting this size tire for their D40, go for it. But I will warn you that they are a little bit of a tight fit. So, I don't know. So to get these, because the lug nuts or the wheel nuts are so bloody deep, and that's what I do is I put the socket in. I push the back of it with a screwdriver, turn to the left a little, then go right, and then it will thread on if it goes according to plan. Because it sits pretty deep inside the wheel. So by doing that, I'll just... And yes, I do use that to tighten it up. I don't care what people say. It's fine. Some people whinge and bitch about that. You shouldn't use metal guns. It's like, well, how else are you going to do it? You can do it by hand, yes. It takes you twice as long. You don't need to. Do that, you put it on, you tighten it down to they basically get as even as possible, and then you get your torque wrench out, and then you torque it all out. That's what I do. This is easy. Oh, hello. You know, today turned out to be a beautiful day.
Yeah.
It's nice and sunny. It's going to rain a little bit. I thought it was going to rain a lot longer, but nah. Pretty much did exactly what happened yesterday. I don't know what it is in this day and age. I don't know whether COVID is the reason why, but for some reason, meteorologists cannot get the weather correct. I don't know whether you find this where you live.
I haven't watched the news in years because they all just, I don't know, they just tell me stuff I don't need to know or just turn out to be wrong anyway.
Yeah. So at the moment I'm just testing to see, make sure it's not cross-threaded before I get the rattle gun on it. This is all you need to do when you get the rattle gun. Alright, it's going to be noisy for a bit when I get it on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not near as noisy as an air one. Just go around the star pattern. She's done. So, now that that's done, I'll torque her up and then drop her down. You know, I used to be the worst worker at Coles, I reckon. Like, I was reliable in the sense that, yeah, I was like reliable in the sense I was always turn up, and well, towards the end not so much, but that's because I just hated life, going through some shit. But yeah, in the sense like if someone did the usual, oh, you know, you can't do this to me, I'd be like fuck, I can't. People used to always give it to them. Never really worked very well. Trying to be a dick to me.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
This looks like it's nick of time. The weather's changing, so so good. Oh, this is interesting. Alright, you know what? I'm going to do it while it's on the ground. Alright. It's time to drop her. Just trying to get that drain more. Alright, so whenever you're jacking the car like this, be super careful, never be under the car. If you're under the car, be in an area where it's not so risky.
Where the car can land on you?
Be where the car lands on you.
No, I mean like, it is whether, is that, do you mean that by where a car can land on you? Where the danger zone is?
Yeah, basically. You never have your hand under it when it's not supported. Don't rely on jacks like this jack that I'm using right now.
Yeah.
They're not 100%. Just need to jack it up just high enough to be able to drop the jack stands. Okay. These are my favourite jack stands. You just pull the lever and they generally just come up. This one's a bit of a dick. Come on.
Hitting it evenly.
Nah, the driveway's not even.
Yeah, the left side is slightly higher than the right.
Yeah, it drops. Because I think it's the way they designed the water runoff. They wanted the water runoff towards the like this side of the driveway.
Yeah.
That side. So. Alright, she's out of the way. We drop her down and I can talk her up. So what I do is I bring it down like that, and then I twist ever so gently. Like that. Beautiful. 3-ton jack, so $100 and something on eBay. Didn't have to pay $900 for a jack. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for Jack.
Yeah. People ask ridiculous money for tools. Sometimes it's warranted, sometimes it's not. King Chrome's a big one.
You like King Chrome?
I do, but I also think they're a bit overpriced.
Yeah, right. Okay.
For what they are, just a bit overpriced. What?
Ray says jacking up and down the car is terrifying to her.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Ray doesn't
is
like
this
it.
going to be the moment that it all ends?
Yeah, pretty much. Just see me moving the whole car forward when I do this. I have Hulk strength. She's on there. Woo! Oh, so much effort doing that. Like, that's 198 newton meters of torque.
Yeah.
So, that's the recommended amount. So. Alright. See how this is looking. So what's Ray up to?
What is Ray up to? Probably just watching a stream and playing video games.
See, this is why I did what I did. Don't know if you can see it, but I'll point to it. So the line is there, right there, just on the low mark, which means that my calculations on the oil was like spot on. Means, which is what I thought it would be, because I was just sort of accounting if there was a bit of oil in the residue in the back of the sump, that I wouldn't overdo it. So now, just need a little bit more oil, and then I'll just top her up as I go along. Doesn't need to be on that full mark. Halfway is usually the good one, because you can top it up as you're going along, like in increments, and then that way you don't ever overfill it.
Yeah, it's fair.
Such a dirty environment. The day that I have a big shed is the day that I'll throw the biggest party, and I'll fly you all the way out to this with you. We'll have a LAN night. And did you ever do LAN nights when you were young? With your friends?
Yes, I did. Not there weren't. I did a few of them. I didn't do it. Wasn't like every single weekend, but what I do is I'd bring my Xbox over to my friend's Xbox, and he'd have a couple of TVs, and we'd play like games like Halo, or we once played Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies on two different consoles, because that was only split screen. You couldn't play 4-player.
Yeah.
That was a bit of fun.
That would have been fun.
But it's one of the most exciting and most euphoric feelings you can get when you run an Ethernet cable between two Xboxes and they actually work together.
Oh yeah. You can't do that anymore. It sucks.
I know. Why is that some sort of? Why is it being treated like an inferior technology or an obsolete technology?
I know.
It's not.
I know, right? It's so stupid. I don't understand why it's like that. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is because obviously I made a huge mess in the engine bay with oil. I need to wash it. I've sprayed a whole heap of degreaser. So what I'll do is start her up, reverse her back, give her a clean out with water just to get rid of all the shit off it. And yeah. Perfect. So she's right in that halfway mark between low and full. That's where I want it. So. Lovely. Cool. And then I'll also do an ECU reset as well. So. Oh, that went
back. There we go. Come back.
That went a little bit. How you going?
My interface does that from time to time. It just distorts the fuck out. Oh, what's it? Oh, I was gonna say something. I don't remember what. Oh, what do you need to reset?
The ECU. So I usually do an ECU reset at the end of every service. Just gets the car relearning what it's doing.
Yep.
Just helps with that sort of thing. So I'll get it doing that. It's just a pedal down, so I don't need a tool or anything like that in this car. Just do a series of maneuvers with the pedals, and we'll turn it into ECU reset learning mode. So
what do you know what ECU stands for?
Not 100%. It's it's electronic computer something. I don't know. It's
so it like recalibrates the computer for the car.
The ECU is basically your car's computer. I'm going to be out of range for a bit. I'll put in the beer right back. Just give me a second. Just to wash my hands.
Yep. He's going on an adventure.
Yes.
In the meantime.
Oh no, that's not what I wanted.
Is that what you wanted?
That's what I wanted.
What? Oh, be right back. Ta-da. Ta-da. I'm gonna guess I'm muted. Oh, nope, not muted. That's okay. In the meantime, what I currently drive, everyone, is a 2002 Holden Astra, and it is probably my favorite car ever. It's really nice, and it just works.
Okay.
Goes from point A to point B. On the smell of an oil
I'm back.
rag. That's all I want.
Hello. Alright, I'm just going to reverse it back and then
Yeah.
give it a bit of a wash. Hopefully I don't damage anything when I do this.
There we go. My vocals aren't back.
They're not back. Am I remuted?
Really.
Did it remute me? No, it says I'm back.
Oh, there they are.
Yep, back. You hear me?
No,
Cool.
they're back now.
Cool.
No, get back. Oh, no, it's picking up on my laptop.
Oh, is it? Has it changed the bloody
It's picking
audio?
up on my laptop. I'm not hearing you through Discord.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Also, my vocals have got done. Something's wrong with my vocals.
Yes, I did forget my chops. Leave me alone. Okay. I just get the hose out. So just on low pressure, I'm just gonna all rinse it in here. Get it all out. Like I said, this sort of amount of water is fine. Don't hurt anything.
What have I done? What have I done? There we go. Is that just going to go over the engine and just take away any oil, excess oil?
Yep, and stop it from eating into anything, crucial. So that's it. That'll be more than enough to wash it away. And it's minute enough that it's not going to hurt anything or contaminate anything. So, well, that's it. That's the end of it. That is the car fully done.
That's the camera.
And well, it's a little harder because the camera's like, let's move it up. Actually, I'll stay. I'll sit down. Well, I'm going to end the stream here at that. I'll just let that dry for a bit before I start up and put it into your reset learning mode and that. You pretty much just do a combination of pedal dances. And basically it resets the ECU and turns it onto learning mode. So it'll relearn the car. Because obviously with fresh oil in there, it's not as thick, it's not as gunked up. So it'll learn how to run the car optimally for it. I do that with any of the engine fluid changes. So also fuel filter, always do it with a fuel filter, otherwise you can't run like shit. So yeah, that was good fun. I hope those who watched enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you again for 120 subs. That's pretty big for me. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And thank you, Spliffy, for helping out with everything. That was much appreciated. And thank you, Ray, as well. for all her help setting this up. Go check her out on Twitch. She's going to be like the most nicest Australian person on there.
Bullshit.
All right, catch you all later. I'll thank you very much for your help.